Welcome to our live stream of high school sports. Please note that this broadcast is produced by an independent team of sports enthusiasts, and the views, opinions, and commentary expressed are solely those of the commentators and not representative of the schools, teams, or athletes featured. While we strive for accuracy, occasional errors or misstatements may occur. This stream is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. Thank you for joining us and enjoy the show.
Yeah, come on, let's go. Hey, you ain't never seen nothing like this. Ain't no telling how it might get. It's the hypest right here. High school sports at its finest. So many highlights, you have to rewind it. Hey, Stream City, let me just remind you. The heart of a lion, a team full of fighters. So many stars on the field, it'll blind you. They're giving everything they got till the time's up. Yeah, legends in the making. History is made. We just getting started. You ain't seen a thing. YSN, gotta know the name. They gon' bring the flames. They gon' do their thing. Take it to another level, don't hold back. High school, got a passion and we show that. Got the drive and you know they got the heart. Number one spot for your high school sports. Let's go for the win. Hey.
And welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to YSN Live. DJ Yoakley on location at Casa de Yoakley, out on the patio, having a good time, enjoying life a little bit, staying home with the kiddos and Mrs. YSN, and just kind of taking it easy. Got a couple meetings in this morning and got a few more today. So that's where I am. And I am joined by the one, the only, the 8-time best-selling author, and of course, the king of women's sports. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him as the professor. You also may know him as Anthony Ronald Hartwig. What's up, buddy?
Good to be here and looking at the best backyard in all of East Palestine. It's only getting better, too. I hear you getting a pool.
Undisputed. We are, and we're very excited about it. I know there's particular people in this household that are more excited than others. But I will tell you that we are excited from our dear friends over at Burnett Pool Spas and Hot Tubs, proud sponsor, and just goes to show that what goes around comes around. So when you take care of others, they will take care of you. Burnett Pool Spas and Hot Tubs has never even blinked when it comes to, hey, we need help with this. Will and the great crew over there. For a minute, I was dancing on Wi-Fi here, Ant. I'm dancing on it.
You're back. You're good. You skipped for a minute, but you're good.
I'm trying. I've got two Wi-Fis going. I've got the Yoakley Wi-Fi, which I think is being deterred by the bricks of fortitude here that protect us. I don't know what to do. I don't have this problem on Fox News. I'll tell you that. DJ
just wanted to have a relaxing day outside, and the Wi-Fi is getting in the way.
Hey kids, get off the Wi-Fi. Go read a book.
Go read a book. Learn something. Touch some grass out there. Go play outside. Like the good old 90s where all we had was outdoor toys, outdoor games. You're back.
Am I in the Matrix? Am I in the Matrix? This is the worst. Well, here's while we have a second, I'll tell you, we got an awesome show for you today. Alicia Auer is going to join us on the show, the legendary volleyball coach at Crestview. We'll have that interview for you. And at 12:30, our very own Rob Johnson will join us. We got a lot to talk about when it comes to conferences, specifically when it comes to the All-American Conference, because there's a new team in the All-American Conference, or will be a new team in the All-American Conference in the Louisville Leopards. We'll talk to Rob about that and pick his brain about what that means for Louisville, what that means for everybody else. All that and more on YSN Live, brought to you proudly by our friends at Greenwood Chevrolet and Toyota of Warren. Do not forget to check them out for your next new or used lease or permanente car. If you want something to own, those are the places you got to go. So, Anthony, what an honor it always is. Someone who's been a huge supporter of YSN through and through. One of the best coaches, I would say, and I don't think many would argue, in the entire state of Ohio when it comes to volleyball. We are blessed to have Alicia Auer with us here in YSN, and of course, Crestview, and Crestview always making incredible runs. I'm sure you talked about it, and you will get to it in a moment. But for you, how awesome is it to talk to Coach Auer year in, year out?
Well, like you said, one of the best volleyball coaches, not just in the YSN family, but I would argue in the state. Was successful for years and years and years, proving that she has a solidified program, not just a class of talented players that came through and was good for 4 years. That's not what Crestview is. This is a volleyball program that has been sustained and good for a long, long time. That is why I am sure that even though they lost a big amount of firepower in their senior class last year, they are going to be just fine when it comes to this year and the players that are coming into the program, because they are built on a standard that is this greatness at Crestview volleyball. So anyone out there thinking, well, Abby Inch isn't there anymore, so maybe we have some wiggle room. And I don't know. Crestview's still a monster, and they still have Laney Auer out there too. So there's going to be a lot of things to deal with for Crestview. I think they're feeling a little bit underappreciated this year when you look at what they lost and you look at some teams thinking that it might be their year to kind of knock Crestview off the pedestal. I think Crestview wants to come out and feel like, no, we're still here and we're still the big boss in town.
Redesign, rebuild, reclaim, rebel.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it's Alicia Auer.
Anthony Irving here with a Crestview Volleyball Coach's Corner and season preview. We're right back where we started last August with Coach Auer. Coach, thanks for coming back on and talking to us about your great program yet again.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Anthony.
So what we like to do before we start about this season and all the excitement around it, just a little bit of a recap of last year for the people that don't have volleyball fresh in their brains. Obviously last year and every year seems like for Crestview went pretty well. What lessons do you think the returning players can learn from last year's experience?
Well, I think, last year we had a lot of fun on the court. We had ice cream Fridays. We just did things to keep the fun going. The girls put a lot of hard work in, so we kind of have fun when we're at practice. We have fun when we're on the court. I think with this group, we have a lot of young kids, and they're a little more nervous than the veterans that we've had in the past. So I think that they just need to relax and have fun like we have in many years past.
People are seeing the seniors of last year and, obviously what you lost, but you've been around for a long time. You've lost a lot of talent before in a senior class. What does this year kind of look like with, like you said, some new faces that might be a little bit nervous, but that you've prepared them for this stage, and they've been on this team with the players that graduated last year, and they've kind of prepared them for this stage with the leadership. So what do you think this year looks like? Give us a little bit of a peek behind the curtain.
Well, we've been so blessed with so many great athletes here, and it's almost like every year you feel like, man, we're really going to miss these kids, and we do. But we learn different strategies to score. We learn different ways to play. I think as long as we play with the intensity and the heart and the focus, that we're going to have success. Obviously, we lost a lot offensively from last year, so we're a lot smaller than we have been over the past many years. So it's just, we got to be scrappier. We got to be smarter. We got to be more aggressive. And I think the girls are really buying in, and I see growth every time they step on the court.
Like we said, this is not the first time that you've been in a position where you've lost a really good senior class that had a lot of big names. What are some of your kind of philosophies and strategies for that next year when you're trying to bring up some girls in new roles and instill confidence and really get them to buy into this program?
Just to remember that volleyball is about having fun. I mean, if it's not fun on the court, if you're stressed out on the court, you're not going to play well. So we just try to, keep it relaxed, keep it focused, keep our expectations where they should be, and just getting better every time we get on the court. We're focusing a lot on aggressive serving so we can score points from the service line. Maybe some of the points we won't score on offensively, we can play better defense. So it's just, working on our strengths. And this is a really great ball control team. We have some pretty strong offensive players, just putting it all together and getting comfortable on the court with that team chemistry.
Let's talk about leadership. Who are the girls that you already can see during these summer months that are going to be very good vocal leaders for you and that you're going to be able to rely on to really keep the team on task when they're on the court?
Well, this team is interesting because my leaders are silent leaders. They lead with their play. They're very calm. They're very collected. They're very cool. And it's Lainey Auer and Soph Stewart are definitely my two leaders by play. They're getting better at being vocal. They've never had to be vocal because they've just always, played their game and have been phenomenal, just, quietly the way they do. So they're stepping up as leaders. That's cool to see. Val Boyd, she's a senior this year. She's making some noise on the court. I think they're all learning how to step in and fill that role, one that they're uncomfortable with, just not their personalities. It's just a quiet group of kids, wonderful kids. They're just a little quiet. So they're getting there.
Crestview is in the midst of kind of a new school being built, and I believe this is the last year in this gym, hopefully, and then you'll be in a new field house next year. How much of it, do you talk about that at all? Like, this is the last chance we get to play on this floor in this gym. You haven't lost a home match since 2020. Do you kind of feel like, hey, this is our last chance to kind of put our stamp on this home gym and put our mark on this floor that we're not going to be playing on anymore after this?
Well, we really haven't talked about that. And honestly, I'm not sure if it'll be this season or next season that's the last, because there might be movement after the season next year. So I can't answer that for sure. But as far as us, we really don't talk about it. We try to ignore the chaos of the building right now, because right now there's construction going on outside. We're moving the weight room tomorrow. So there's just a lot of things happening. We just try to focus on, the here and now when we're on the court at practice.
The here and now is in front of you. Let's talk about this schedule. We always start with the conference, the MVAC grades here. What do you see out of the conference this year, and what are some things that you can do, obviously, to keep Crestview on the top of it and that name on the top of that banner?
I think Garfield will be very strong this year. I know there was quite a few strong middle school teams. I didn't get a lot of chances to watch the middle school programs, but I've heard that Brookfield had a strong middle school, Champion had a strong middle school. So I don't know too much about what's coming back. I do know that Garfield had a very strong player injured last year, and she'll be back on the court, so that'll definitely make an impact for them, which is already a strong team. I'm excited. It's really hard for us in our conference to know what to expect, because I don't feel like we know the kids because the distance between the schools. So when I see them, I remember them, and then I can make that judgment. But as far as like planning ahead, I'm not really sure what everybody's bringing back. So I'm excited. It'll be fun.
And then when you go outside of the conference, Crestview always just trying to get the best of the best to make their tournament as easy as possible and be prepared for it. So who are those teams outside of the MVAC that you're really excited to go up against this year?
Oh, we do have a strong out-of-conference schedule this year. We open up with East Liverpool, and I know they'll be tough. Boardman is up and coming. They had a really nice summer. They're going to be tough. Fitch is always a good team. Who else? We play Canfield this year, which would be a great game. Also, Girard always gives us a good game. So, I mean, our out of conference schedule, it's pretty loaded. So it's going to be a tough year. Definitely. Good competition. It'll be fun.
And you wouldn't want it any other way. When you're putting together a schedule, what are things you look for? I mean, obviously you want to play as many different styles of volleyball as possible, but like you said, sometimes you don't know exactly what these teams are bringing back and exactly what these teams will look like. There are a lot of teams in the area that are dealing with a lot of lost seniors. What are some things that you are trying to look for when you're building a schedule?
Well, I mean, when you get deep into postseason, you always come against teams that are big, teams that are a good blocking team. So it's always nice, like Boardman comes to mind. They've got a very big team this year. So that's going to be good for us to come across that type of team so we can hit against those bigger blockers, so we can be ready to defend against the bigger hitters. All the teams that I mentioned out of conference are physically bigger, like just bigger, stronger girls than the teams that we always play. And like I said, this year we're small. So we gotta learn how to match up against teams that are bigger than us. I mean, fortunately, over the past many years at Crestview, we've had a lot of height. And this year, that's not the case. I have a couple kids that are tall, but the majority of my team is pretty short.
Let's also talk about your coaching staff. Obviously, we love the coaching staffs that you have at Crestview, but we always want to give them the limelight because we know how much work they put into. Go down your staff and the people that are working for you and the people that will, make Crestview what it always is.
My coaching staff is like my dream team. I absolutely love my staff. This year, Mackenzie Cross is my varsity assistant. Sarah Finch is our JV coach. And Casey Landsberger is our freshman coach. And Casey actually just had a baby a month ago. So she has a 2-year-old and a 1-month-old. So we have a baby in the gym this year, which is always fun. So my high school program is amazing as far as coaches. Like if I need to take a day and move my kid into college, I just leave my coaches with my practice plan. And I know it's run exactly as I would run it myself. So I feel so blessed to have them on my staff. And then you move down to our middle school. We have Diane Campbell is 8th grade. She's been there for many years. She does a great job. And Drew Farron is our 7th grade. Miranda Barnett is also a volunteer down there. And they run a very solid program. The girls know the fundamentals. And when they come in as freshmen, they're ready.
When you talk about, this staff, and obviously they've been with you for a while, you have to trust your staff more than anything. And you said, like putting them in a practice plan, knowing that they'll run it the way you do. What makes this coaching staff so easy to trust? I mean, obviously we've known them for a while. They've been with you for a while, but it's always hard to put people in those positions. What are some things that really make this coaching staff so special?
Well, we all think the same as far as volleyball mindset. Like coach, I played in college. Sarah played in college. Ken's played in college. So we all have that background. Casey was a player of mine, so she played at Crestview. Diane also played at Crestview. So we all have the same mindset. And Drew was at South Range. And I believe Rachel was her coach, who was a player of mine. So it's like we all have the same basic vision for volleyball and what's important and what we want to teach. Our coaching styles are very similar. And we just have fun. Like our mindset is if it's not fun, who would want to be here? If it's not fun for the coaches, if it's not fun for the players. I mean, obviously, don't get me wrong. We work really hard. The coaches work hard. The players work hard. We put a lot of effort in. But I'm hoping after the 3-hour practice we put in this morning that the girls walk out to the parking lot and feel good about what they just did. It's just, we challenge them, they work hard, and it's a fun atmosphere.
This was the first day of official practices in the state, which means you have, a couple of weeks before the season starts. What's on your checklist for practices and scrimmages that you want to make sure is locked down before game one?
Just find the team chemistry. We have a lot of kids who are between JV and varsity, and I just need to find that varsity lineup that clicks. We had some injuries over the summer. We haven't had a lot of time together as a full unit. So just getting that chemistry, getting the kids on the court together and finding the lineup that works.
Like you said, you opened the season against East Liverpool. Give a shout out to when that game is and when your fans can come and see you guys for the first time.
Boy, you're going to ask me that. Hold on. I got to look at my calendar real quick.
Putting Coach on the spot.
We open up on August 20th at East Liverpool. So there August 20th at East Liverpool.
Potter Fieldhouse, get down there. It's a beautiful venue, and there's no other way to watch Crestview volleyball than against a very good East Liverpool team. Coach, thank you so much for your time. We always appreciate it. We love talking about Crestview volleyball, and we will see you very soon on the court.
Thank you, Anthony.
Job well done. Job well done. Nice job.
Coach Auer, what a great coach, what a great program, and they open up with East Liverpool, which is going to be a great volleyball match. Dan McKinstry, Alicia Auer going up against each other, two of the legends.
I mean, yes. The all-time winningest coach in volleyball history in the Buckeye State. My former neighbor, also on his resume. Yeah, and then you look at probably – I don't even know how close Coach Auer would be into that record. But you got to imagine if she keeps on keeping on, she might be one of the few prospective coaches that would ever come close to that record, if not tie or break it. I don't know what that is. I
absolutely agree. I'll have to do some digging. We'll do some journalism.
Dan's been coaching for a long time.
Yeah, and he's still going.
And
so that record's still
he's still cooking. Great job with that interview. I mean, when you talk to, it's hard not to get inspired and excited when you hear Coach Auer talk, because she does mean what she says and says what she means. Because at the end of the day, if it's not fun, why are you there? Why are we doing it? I got that out of it. I thought that was real interesting. The other little nugget that I'll take from it, and this isn't a faux pas. I think this was very intentional, and I think that there's a lot of people that are having this conversation because if you remember, Anthony, in 2017, there was a massive shakeup in conferences.
Yes.
You talk about the ITCL. You talk about what was the I don't know, the All American Conference, the Steel Valley Conference. All these different conferences were shaking up the what used to be the NBC, right? Now it's the EBC. Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
And one of the members of those schools in the what was the NBC, was not a member of the EBC, and that was Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to be honest with you, there's a lot of similarities with kind of where we are now, almost 10 years later to 2017, with a lot of schools looking in different yards and wondering, hey, I might want to play in that yard a little bit more. Louisville has been independent for all these years. They've been courted, and they finally come to a decision, and they will be joining the All-American Conference. And with more on that, ladies and gentlemen, we bring in our correspondent, our dear friend, Pro Football Hall of Fame correspondent for the last week. I believe his name is now pronounced with a little bit more respect. His name is Roberto Honson, I believe is how you pronounce it. Roberto Honson. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we call him Rob Johnson.
What's up, guys?
Roberto Honson, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. How about you guys?
Never been better. We're here to talk about Louisville in the AAC, but what I want to talk about first is your last week has been probably inspiring to say the least. Take us through it.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was so cool going over there and having full access to what we were able to do there at the NFL Pro Football Hall of Fame. I mean, starting the week off with the press conference with Eric Allen, Jared Allen, Antonio Gates, and Sterling Sharp, and just hearing those guys talk about some of the struggles and the obstacles they had to overcome to get into the Hall of Fame and have the careers they have. And, you know, hearing about Sterling's injury and how, you know, when he walked away, you know, he knew that it was one of those things where it was, hey, folks, it's either have a life with my family or try to come back and play football. And something that I learned was that he actually had an opportunity to go back and play with the Cowboys. Jerry Jones actually reached out and said, can you play football? And he said, I can, but I'm not going to. And so that was kind of cool. And Antonio Gates, one of the questions they asked some of the other Hall of Famers was, what is your thoughts on, you know, Antonio going from playing college basketball, never playing a down of college football, and doing what he did in the NFL? And they all in unison were like, we can't because we dedicated our lives to playing the sport of football. And for that young man to come in and do what he did is just unbelievable. So, and then to be able to see some of the greats that we got to meet over there, that was cool. The Gold Jacket dinner, when those guys got to get their jackets, that was sweet.
For you, was it like a lifelong dream, or I mean, you've been right next to Canton this entire time, and this is correct me if I'm wrong, the first time you've ever kind of pulled this card.
Yeah, this was the first time I've ever I had the ability to cover the event as a media personality. That was pretty cool. Yeah, it was kind of a lifelong dream. You know, it's different. Growing up, my grandpa was involved with the committee and stuff like that, and meeting some of those guys as a young kid, you know, Alan Page shaking your hand and your hand disappears and you're just like, whoa. And then, but to get this side of it and actually talk to some of these guys one-on-one was just a dream come true. It was really cool.
So we talk about dream come true. Are there any current or retired players that aren't in the Hall of Fame yet that you would put on your wish list of if they get into the Hall of Fame, you want to be a part of their speech and their moment?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm pretty sure that there's a guy that's going to be coming. He has an opportunity. It's his first opportunity next year, and if he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, I'll be surprised. And with all the great things that he did, not just on the field but off the field, Drew Brees would be a guy that I would love to cover, just as a man and as an athlete.
And then in 2027, there's some guy who hung around Pittsburgh for about 18 years.
Yeah, Big Ben.
Yeah, he might get in. I'm hoping. Fingers crossed.
Here, I had a front row seat to plenty of those games, and he broke my heart more than once. So if he's not in there, I mean, I don't know who should be. But he had a Hall of Fame career just against the Browns. So
once the all-time leading winningest quarterback in Cleveland history in that stadium.
Yeah. He has more touchdowns than Browns quarterbacks combined, I think.
Wow.
Hey, don't worry, Rob. You guys just got another quarterback. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, that's I'll tell you what, guys. I don't know what they're doing up there, and I don't proclaim to be an NFL executive, but man, you watch some of this stuff, and I'm not a big as far as following some of what the guys that are just spouting out on the internet and this and that. But I'll tell you what, I had the opportunity to go up for a couple hours and watch those guys throw. And, they're all NFL quarterbacks, but watching Shedeur throw the ball, he's got it. And the kid's willing to learn from a guy like Joe Flacco and stuff like that. I'm not saying he's going to come in and be Tom Brady. Let's make that very, very clear. But I just feel like there's something else going on there. And then to bring in Tyler Huntley, I know they're talking injuries, but I just feel like somebody's on their way out of town.
Well, when a third of your roster is quarterbacks, I would hope that somebody's on their way out of town. So
yeah.
We'll see how it goes. But we're not here to talk about NFL, my friend.
Right,
not yet.
Right.
We're here to talk about high school football, which is 3 weeks away from this Thursday, and specifically Louisville, because there was some news that broke and then didn't really break, and then we broke the news correctly because that's what we do.
Right.
We wait for it to be official. But for you, as someone who has covered this Louisville team for so long, as they've been independent, to jump into the All-American Conference with the likes of teams like Austintown Fitch and Canfield and Warren Harding, for you, do you think that's a good fit for Louisville as a whole, or specifically because they're not playing the football schedule per se officially until 2027, and then that goes in? So,
yes, that's correct.
So talk to me about how you like this as a fit. Do you think it's good for Louisville? Do you think it's a competitive balance for Louisville? And how will Louisville fare in your mind first year?
Well, I think that as far as the competitive balance, I think it's a good fit for Louisville. I mean, when you look at the teams that they're playing or are going to have the opportunity to play, I mean, Louisville has played these teams before. We've had success and we've lost to them. So, I mean, it's pretty balanced there. I know in the other sports, we're already playing a lot of these teams, so it doesn't have a huge effect as much as maybe playing them twice in one season. But, I had the opportunity, I think it was my freshman year, we were still in the Federal and then went to the new NBC. So I kind of watched how that transformation happened. And the NBC, a lot of people don't realize, is not the original NBC that Louisville joined years ago. There were a lot of teams like Dover and Northwest and stuff like that were a lot closer in size to the schools that we were all similar size schools, I should say. And so it kind of mirrors what's happening with the AAC and so forth. And to the independents, I mean, there was some benefits for us this year, and you guys got to have a front row seat with me for that, was the state title. I mean, the beauty of being an independent was each year we, had the opportunity to build that schedule up to where we were playing basically a powerhouse schedule from the word go this year. And I'll be honest with you, if we were in the NBC, I don't think we would have won a state title.
You seemingly cover every sport for Louisville. You're out there broadcasting everything. What sport do you think is like the most intriguing with the addition of Louisville in the AAC?
Wow, good question. I mean, I know we already
Journalism.
played soccer lacrosse. Yeah, journalism. But I'm interested to see it with football because a lot of the other schools or the other programs already play them. So I'm interested to see that because, obviously with Austintown Fitch, that's going to be a tough game. I mean, it's not a situation where it's going to be, let's just join this league and we're going to rule it like we did the NBC. It's not going to be that. And anybody that thinks that is mistaken. Is there travel involved with it? Sure. But I think that football will be the most affected by it. I think that basketball is going to be a good fit too, as far as boys basketball. And we'll see how it plays out. But I think that most of the programs, like I said, play them already.
In a situation like this, we talked about kind of, everybody I in my head, it's a neighborhood of schools,
Right.
and they kind of look in each other's yard and they're like, okay, I want my yard to look like that. I want I think we can beat these teams in this conference. Has it turned into, Rob, everybody's looking for wins instead of essentially trying to get better and compete and sharpening iron against iron, so that way you can compete for a state title? Or do you think that it's just kind of the nature of the beast as this thing goes and trying to firm up schedules and make schedules easier for people, even though it might be a little bit more of a drive?
Well, I think it's a combination of things. I mean, obviously, it does make the scheduling a lot easier. But, if you're in a schedule where, you think you're going to win the schedule every year, then you're not doing yourself any justice. Being in a league like with the AAC and having the opportunity to go out and compete against some very strong teams. I mean, Boardman, Austintown Fitch, those teams are no slouch, and you're not just going to walk into their house and lay the wood to them. They're coming to play. And, they see a school like Louisville coming, and they're going to be ready. As far as state titles, the goal is always to play for a state title. Is it nice to have that league so that your players get that extra recognition each year, being an all-league player? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, if you're not playing for a state title, then what are you playing for?
As we said before, Louisville has kind of been looking for a conference. We've heard their name pop up in other conferences in past years. Maybe they could get in here. Maybe they could get in here. What do you think the conversation was about the AAC, and what do you think made that such a kind of a staple for Louisville to say we can go into this conference and this is where we feel like we would fit in the most?
Well, I think it was the competition. I truly do. I mean, there were other conferences and we could have been there, but I think that this one fits as far as the competition goes. I mean, it's one of those things that, I hate to see us go into a weaker conference that's going to affect the end result of, that long playoff run. I mean, they're at the end, and it's not a knock on some of those teams, but I don't know back in the, when we're towards the end of the NBC, if we were ready for the playoffs, because we were mowing through some of those programs. And, it was tough, watching early exits and stuff like that.
When you heard the whispers of the other conferences, I mean, obviously you're one of those individuals that is not only historian of Louisville, but you're not on the administration, so you can speak
Right.
freely. So it's nice. You heard some of the rumors. You had your ear to the wall. Were there any of the conferences that you thought, hey, that might be nice? And were there any that were like, I'm glad we didn't pull the trigger on that one?
Well, I have to say the Federal League was one of them, and I was not a fan of it, and it's not because I'm afraid of those teams or I don't want to play those teams, but when you're facing a bunch of schools that have 100 kids on the field for football and you're running 47, that's tough, man. I don't care who you are, how good you are. And when you're facing, I think we faced six of them in a row that we had to play like that. I mean, it takes a toll physically on your kids to where, I think the last year that was kind of a consideration, I think we ended up with 11 kids that were injured. And, it's just from the physical, guys like Jackson or McKinley or, some of those schools, they're rolling 3 defensive line at your offensive line, and our guys are playing both ways. That's brutal.
One of the things I want to ask, you brought up the benefits of being an independent and how that really did help you guys in times. The AAC is a conference, of course, but it's a smaller conference, so you still have a lot of opportunities to go and be kind of an independent type schedule. We see a lot of the AAC teams go and play teams and a bunch of teams in their schedules that maybe other schools that had bigger conferences wouldn't be able to adhere to. Do you think that was a big selling point? Like, hey, we're in a conference, but we only have 4 other teams that we have to play, so we can still go and have a schedule that is really bulked up and really almost independent in the non-conference?
Yeah, I really do, because you look at those teams; they're strong teams, so it's helping with your points totals as far as like football going to the playoffs, stuff like that. But you're also able to keep those rivalries together, like Hoover, North Canton Hoover, and some of those schools that you still want to go out and play. We can keep a Northwest who's a great, you can call it a rivalry from the old NBC, or, whether, John DeMarco's over there and people like to bring that up, but they're just 2 similar competitive schools that just like to ball out and battle each other. And it doesn't matter whether you're in the blue and white or you're in the, the scarlet and gray. You're going in there to battle. And those are the kind of games that we wanted to see stay on the schedule.
So nobody's really talked to you about this, on air at least. There's a lot of festivities going on for Louisville this fall. What are you most excited for? I know there's a lot of, the Hall of Fame and things of that nature. Talk to us about that. And then how do you overall think that the blue and white's going to fare this year on the football field?
Well, I'll tell you what, and I'm involved with it very much so, along with the Touchdown Club and stuff. We've got the Ring of Honor coming up. I think it's next Tuesday, the 11th. We're going to be doing the induction, and it's in its 4th year. We're inducting Coach Hap Lillick, who was the orchestrator of all those great Leopard teams, who coached, Bob Galagio, Mark Steyer, Tom Klebeck, actually the Klebeck brothers and so forth, of all those great Leopard football teams that just, they won title after title. And he's going to be the first, he's going to be the next one inducted into that. That'll be Tuesday, and we'll have the band and the cheerleaders there, and it's going to be an open practice. So we'll have that. And so that'll be a lot of fun. And as far as the team, I'll tell you what, I'm excited. There's a lot of really young talent on this team, and they had the opportunity to play, obviously, your boy Bob Burek, his boy Trev. I mean, it was funny. I was doing the graphics for the guys at the stadium for tomorrow. I was taking the pictures for it, and I almost had to get an oversized backdrop, a plain black backdrop, because I couldn't fit Colton and Trev into the backdrop. I had to kind of adjust everything and lift it up so that we could make sure those guys fit, because they're huge,
enormous.
And I think both of them each have like 9 Division I offers as linemen. So just the size alone for a D1 lineman says volumes. But you add in the kids like Gabe Stouffer. I'll tell you what, that kid put in the work this offseason, and watching him sling the ball around the yard, and just like, I'm excited to see what his potential is going to be this year. And he's just an outright athlete, man. That kid, the plays he makes on both sides of the ball, You talk about, Jared Heller and I joke about this from Leopard Nation. You know, we had some downtimes here for Leopard football, and God looked down on us and said, you know what, we're going to give you some Wilson triplets. And so, you know, and that's Dan Wilson's sons, who was a Division I All Ohio guy, and you know, just a great both sides of the ball player. And his kids are not far behind. In fact, you know, not to put any pressure, you know, the sky's the limit for those guys, and it's just insane, like how good they can be. Owen and Drake and Chase. I mean, and then you've got Cody Zaylor, who's an athlete. I mean, in the sophomore class this year is ridiculous how good they can be. And then you're following it up with freshmen that are, you know, that are coming right behind them. And our junior and our senior class is strong. So, you know, to say that they could be successful this year is not unheard of. I mean, I'm
stacking bricks, buddy. Stacking
Amen.
bricks.
And Kappas has really done a great job of building this program. He revamped the Little Leopard program. Actually took the 8th grade out of the Little Leopard program and made it a Louisville football team on its own. So you have Leopard football that's Louisville run from 8th grade on to
That's
the bar.
huge.
Yeah. And, you know, you've got those kids that 8th grade team went undefeated last year, and they played a lot of big schools.
That's big. Sounds exciting in Louisville
really
right
is.
now. Ant,
What is one game on the schedule this year for football that you're circling as like the marquee game of the season?
Well, the biggest opponent, I would think, that if somehow, some way we won that game, it puts the stamp on the season and says Leopard football is back, and that's LaSalle. I mean,
really?
if LaSalle comes in, you know, we play LaSalle this year, and they're a powerhouse. I mean, they're no joke. They are that team that, you know, they make that run every year, and they're just a solid program. And if Louisville finds a way to get it done against LaSalle, I think, you know, the rest of the schedule has the possibilities of doing great things, and that could be the final straw to get them into the playoffs. And once you get to this show, we saw it last year, anything can happen, man.
Hey, a wise man once said, if you're not playing for a state championship, what are you playing for?
Right.
I don't know who said it. I can't remember. I can't credit that name.
Well,
I think his name was Rob Johnson.
Well, that's like you said earlier about the news about the league and stuff like that. And it was one of those things that we heard about it and we knew about it. And it was funny. I reached out to you because I wasn't going to be quick on the draw, but I was like, you know, see what you can find out. And of course, we started to hear about the different things, but Louisville hadn't committed at that point. And, you know, it comes back to being right versus being first. And that's the one thing that I've always said, that, you know, my man DJ always tells me, just make sure we're right. We don't need to be first. We just need to be right. And so that was something that has always just kind of sat with me.
Hey, man, you don't got to crack the eggs. You just got to eat them, right?
Right.
That's
Right.
all we're worried about is eating those eggs.
Amen, brother.
Rob, before I let you go, is there one particular, I mean, outside of football, is there one particular contest or something you're going to be doing this fall that you're really excited you want to tell people about to kind of tune in? I know you got a lot. You're literally as if not as busy, more busy than I am during the fall.
Wow. Man, I don't know. I've got so much going on right now in between Second Fridays and getting ready for this. Oh, yes. Actually, Tuesday, we've got a great event coming, and we'll be sending it over to YSN. We'll be talking to the Stark County coaches. We're going to be over there, and it kind of is a prelim to something that we're going to launch. It's going to be a magazine, a Stark County football preview, and then we included some of the outside schools. And sorry, I'm trying to remember everything, but we're going to launch it and bring back the Stark County preview that has been missing for a few years. And I've been working with Troy Davis and Jocelyn Harsh and Rick Everhard to try and make sure that we can get this done. And Troy, I'll tell you what, man, he is on a mission. He has done a great job. I can't say enough. He's been the lead on that. And we're going to be over at St. Herlumbo's on tomorrow for the Stark County Coaches event, and we'll be there. And then we'll be bringing you guys interviews from there, and we'll also be bringing you interviews throughout the season. Plus, obviously, the coaches show that you and I talked about and so forth. So there's just a lot coming, and I'm excited for the preview because we included teams like Dover and New Philly into it, even though they're technically outside, but they're always roped in. And Carrollton and Salem, we talked to Ron John the other day, and so a lot of things coming, man.
Well, and not only that, I mean, which I'm glad you remembered. I was a little bit worried. I didn't want to have to spoon feed. I'm like,
right.
I hope you pulled the right file from your folder. But you're also going to be backstage, Rob, once again when it comes to our Thursday night shows starting this fall, which now has a name thanks to the lovely Mrs. YSN. Zone Coverage is going to be the name of the show on Thursdays. And you and I will be spending a lot of time going from campus to campus. Looking forward to that. And dude, your production quality, your event status, second to none. ESPN doesn't even hold a candle to what Rob Johnson can do.
Well, we're working on it. I mean, every production we try to put out, we always go back and watch it. And, it's funny what a lot of people like. I sit there and I want to pull my hair out sometimes because I'm kind of a perfectionist and I see stuff and I'm like, man, we just need to fix this or we need to fix that. And, the biggest thing is I want to bring the best we can bring to YSN for the folks. They deserve, I just like to use the word perfection, but they deserve the best. And, when they sign into YSN, I want them to see the best.
Well, you are the best, my friend. We're so lucky to have you. So honored to have you jump on last minute. Thank you for taking some time out of your busy day.
Hey, no problem.
Looking forward. And the voice of Louisville will continue on through Roberto Honson. Rob Johnson, thank you very much for stopping by, buddy. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
You got it, pal. What a dog. What a leopard.
I should say cat, right? What a cat. What a cool cat.
Wow. He is a cool cat. And as good as it gets. His vision for YSN is completely off dimension to where I've never thought it could go. And that's not a bad thing. That's a great thing because everybody has their own, that's why it's your sports network, right? Because we wanted other people to imagine what they would want in a sports network. When you talk to Rob, you can't help but get excited. And, I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, I remember at the All-Star game, I'm talking to Rob and I'm like, okay, how can we get next level on every broadcast? And I love his expression. Tell you what, because when he says, let me tell you something or tell you what, whatever comes next is going to be an absolute banger. So I'm sitting there and he goes, let me tell you something. It's not going to be that expensive for you. That is like Christmas to my ears. Because usually I just hear this cha-ching, ching, ching, ching. Rob goes, you know what? For this amount of money, I bet we can get 3 setups like that. I looked at Brian. I said, get with him.
Get with him. Go.
Go. You are blessed. And we are blessed to have Rob as part of our coverage team. And certainly Louisville is overly blessed to have that as their voice through and through, seemingly on everything. And a guy that I can't tell you how excited I am to have him join our Thursday nights and to include him on a more regular basis. He recently received a designation here at YSN, which I think he's pumped about. We're pumped about, certainly. And he just continues to kill it. And I think on Thursday nights alone, not even including everything else he does. This Thursday night show is going to be something. It's going to be something. And we actually had someone reach out for the week one and say, would you mind coming here instead? Because we're thinking about going to Mineral Ridge. That's where it was all going to start with Andy, and then they moved their game from Thursday to Friday, and then we have games on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So we might do a little audible.
Omaha.
And I think it's going to be it's between Niles and Howland or Mineral Ridge. So I got to talk it over with the boys and figure out what works better. But I think being at the game atmosphere week one, day one,
Mm-hmm.
that'd be pretty cool. That gets the fans that we want to see. Maybe even we do in the stadium if they'll let us. And if they don't do that, hey, little tailgate party. I'm sure we can get hooked up with some grills and things of that nature. Sam Torres is geeked. I mean, I can literally hear him salivating, not about the food, about the football and the experience. So I know that all we need is a little bit of power, and now I have it right here. I got juice on my own. I'm free flowing electricity. So we are going to win. We are going to win the day. Week 2 sounds like it's potentially at YSU. So incorporating a little bit, because they're playing on a Thursday night. We had someone come in and say, hey, would you mind doing here on week 2? I think that's a damn good idea. So we're going to be all over the place. Zone coverage is coming. And if you want us to show up on your campus on a Thursday night, please let us know. We would love to do it. And we're going to be Ashton Beulah. I believe we're in Pepper Pike one week, down in East Palestine one week. We're Louisville one week, YSU, like I said, Trumbull County as well. I mean, we're trying to hit all the counties along the way and show everybody some love. So hopefully that works out. And of course, Ant, one of the things that we're really excited about, as always, are these shows that we have during the week. Mm-hmm. The Giangelo's South Range show will actually start next week, next Tuesday. It sounds like we're going to interview all the coaches for South Range. And we're working on making sure, I know Springfield show is going to return this year. So that's awesome. And we're working on the other ones, trying to firm everything up and get the schedules coordinated. So a lot of good stuff. And Rob, of course, is going to keel it over in Louisville. They should, without a doubt, Louisville should have their own weekly show, because Rob would I think he'd salivate for that opportunity.
I think he's still in the background. He just heard that. I think he got a little bit giddy.
He's probably got a little bit of the drool coming down his chin right now, because that's nobody loves Louisville more than that guy, and those are the kind of people we want to attract to YSN. We want that to be the voice of your community. So if you have one of those guys like Rob Johnson, who is a unicorn, by the way, he is one of one. We want to talk to you. We want you to be the voice of your community. It's coming up. We got 3 weeks to get it in, and we're announcing the YSN Academy tomorrow. So the dates will be coming up. It'll be late next week, either a Thursday, Friday, or a Friday, Saturday. We're trying to figure that out. So plan on that, and we'll have it at Athletics as we always do, right at our home. So if you would like to be an announcer, if you would like to be part of what we do, please join us. More information coming out tomorrow morning on YSN social media. So there's that. That's all I got, Ant.
That's all you got. Hey, you're free-flowing electricity. I think that's a perfect segue into the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark, if I'm not mistaken.
Zap! The Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark, presented by Joe Dickey Electric. They are everything electrical, and you can visit them anytime, 24/7, 365. All you got to do, DickeyElectric.com. Not bad. See, I don't have any controls today. I'm usually the guy doing the directing and the producing. And Anthony, you're doing a good job back there, buddy.
I'm going back into my only host days, like flashbacks. Haven't had to do that in a while.
Started off with a little turbulence because you instead of going to Alicia Hour, you go to
You
me
went
on a full screen shot, and I'm like, "What are we doing?"
You were dancing a little bit. You were good.
I just went like this. I was like, "What are we doing? Like, what is this guy doing?" Monkey on the control room. That's what my dad used to say. I never realized what I don't know. And now there's no control room. It's just us and a laptop. But hey, my spark. I'm gonna pull a Scotty Mincher. My spark goes to you, buddy, because you picked up the ball and you ran with it. Every time, seemingly, I'm like, "Hey, I need you to do this." You're on it. You are on it. And part two of my spark is I am so incredibly excited with all of the new sponsors, the renewed sponsors and supporters and advertisers that we have coming into the 2025 year. I am geeked. These meetings have been nothing but almost, I mean, they're humbling for sure, but almost an embarrassment of riches from the champagne poured all over us. Like, congratulations on whoa. Like, people you don't realize are watching, it's unbelievable. So, hey, thank you. Thank you for everything you do for us, and the support that you give helps us go even further, even better, helps guys like Rob Johnson, helps us get more coverage, Sam Torres as well, and Greg McAfee. It allows us to pay the freight for some of these guys, for getting guys that are going to give everything they have. And that's a big thing, right? It costs money to move that YSN truck. I can't pay the electric bill on Smiles anymore. So we can't thank our supporters enough. Joe Dickey being another one of them. Eric Carlson, one of our biggest supporters. So thank you to all of them, old, new, renewed, all of them, because we cannot do it without you. And we certainly can't do it without you folks out there who continuously make us your one-stop shop for everything that is sports in this region, from the lake to the river. So thank you so much. Over to you, Anthony.
My spark is so random today, but I was fascinated last night because I was letting YouTube run the algorithm while I was posting the interviews that you saw go up last night. And a guy popped up on YouTube that kind of goes around Tokyo, Japan, and takes you through these really small apartments that people live in over there. And when I say tiny, I mean like small. And I'm like amazed that the people in Japan can live in such a very small area. They're so efficient with their space because Tokyo is a very small geographic area, but with a lot of people trying to cram into it. So I was just amazed, like, oh man, these guys can fit so much in such a little space. And I'm looking around at my house and my room, and like anytime you feel like maybe you're not living as big as you want to, or you just be like, man, we are luxury compared to people in the world, man. We have it made. We have a house that's twice as big as anyone over there has. So it kind of makes you kind of feel like gratitude for what you do have when you watch stuff like that. So I was just like mesmerized, like some of the places these guys were going to, like the apartments that they have, and I was like, my word, you're living in like a 9x2 little box, and you fit all your stuff in there, and you still living your life. And I was like, man, that is crazy to me. It's just mind blowing.
I'm gonna ask you one question only. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Did you screw up our YSN algorithm on YouTube now?
No, I don't use the YSN account to watch my personal YouTube madness. So
I do.
You're still locked in with all your Imagine Dragons and
my Imagine Dragons, my Jelly Roll, and my Pat McAfee and Superman theme song.
It's all good. Yeah, the John Sweet, you're good.
All right, that's all that matters. I just don't want to be scrolling down and I'm probably gonna ruin it. Why are all these Chinamen crawling through this house?
What's up with these?
How did they get here? Damn Hartwig. He's going down the rabbit hole again.
I kind of want to mess with your algorithm now just to be fun. I won't do it, but
listen, I can screw your algorithm up
I know you can.
real fast. We probably just absolutely nuke people's algorithms because they're watching on Facebook. And Mark Zuckerberg sitting there like this. They want little Chinamen. The death scroll, the scroll of doom, and now you've got everybody getting little houses of Chinese people. Congratulations, Ant. Well done. That is what we call the Spark, brought to you by Joe Dickey Electric, who will probably pull their sponsorship after this awesome segment. Never again. I'm going to get a text message. Never again. Don't do it.
No.
Stop Hartwig and his highway to hell and everybody's algorithm. So I will be out on
Thursday.
I believe I'm out on Thursday, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Got to double check on Friday because I will be at the Columbiana Amphitheater. See, the Cat is what they call it, for a little instructional seminar. And I'm actually, believe it or not, I don't know why they would do this. God bless my pastor, Jeff Shoke, who said, hey, we would love for you to talk about social media. And after today's Spark, I will probably be withdrawn from that and how you can help build your business and your organization or your church and all that stuff. So if you are in the neighborhood or you want to learn a little bit more about some stuff that we do in the press to help you with your business or your organization, or whatever it may be, I will be in Columbiana at the CAT. Couldn't tell you what it stands for right now because it's slipping my mind, but it's right there in the circle. So right there off the edge, you see it on Channel 21, featured on Channel 21 WFMJ, and their Storm Tracker cam all the time. Come join me on Friday morning. I think I'm going to be good. You're out on Friday.
Yeah, I'll be on the road to Kansas City.
And then next week is a little bit dicey for both of us, but word on the street is we're going to have some, when we do have a show, which will not be on Thursday and will not be on Monday. So Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, we will have guest hosts right here on YSN Live. And looking forward to that, especially with a couple of them I've already reached out to. And it's not just going to be about football, folks. It's going to be about people that are in the community doing great things and having great conversations. And one of them might have been a guest today. You never know.
You never know. He's still back there. Know. You can ask him.
Get out of here, Rob. Go on. Get. That's going to do it for our show today. Don't forget to check out ysnlive.com for continued interviews that the Terminator of interviews, Anthony Hartwig, continues to just machine gun. I'm going to start calling you Machine Gun Ronald instead of Machine Gun Kelly.
Okay, I'm down with that.
We'll see if it sticks. Has anybody called you Ronald yet?
No.
Oh, come on, people.
Twiggy hasn't stuck yet either. I like that one.
Well, if you like it, you're definitely not going to get it.
I know. That's the truth.
Ronald is the one. Ronald is him. That's all I'm saying. We can start calling you Uncle Ronald. I think that'd be good.
Yeah,
I did have someone ask me if there was an 8-time bestseller. Like, why you're an 8-time? I said, I don't know. He wrote 8 great books. They said, name them. I couldn't name them.
No, they weren't for me. I watched the movie. TJ's like, I waited for the movies.
The dream died whenever they asked me to name the books that you wrote. I was like, I don't know. It sounded really good. So that's going to do it for our show. Thank you for hanging in and getting silly with us a little bit towards the end. Thank you to Coach Auer of Crestview Volleyball. Thank you to Rob Hanson, who is the voice of the Louisville Leopards, but also near and dear to our heart in every single way, and a big part of our future moving forward, for stopping by, talking about the AAC, talking about Louisville, talking about the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and everything in between. That's it. That's all. That's Anthony Ronald Hartwig. My name's DJ Yoakley. Anthony, may the sports be with you, my friend.
And you, my friend.
YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of Your Sports Network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.